Number one, we got to simplify your business and simplify your strategy. All right. So one of the things that we worked on with you, Yohance, I remember, is we got you much more targeted and clear on exactly who you serve. Most people are trying to serve too broad of an audience for too many different things. No, if you get known, that leads to more, let's say JV partnerships, more podcast opportunities, more referrals, more like easier fulfillment, all the different things. So simplifying your business and focus and having the right strategy and model set to scale, that's key.
You are tuned in to the Money Script Podcast. Today, we will share strategies to help you grow your financial literacy and improve your money script. I'll be back with some important announcements. Until then, enjoy the show.
Welcome back to the Money Script Podcast. It's your host, Yohance Harrison. So happy to be with each and every one of you today. I missed you all. I was, I had some podcasts in the can, so you got to see some stuff while I was gone, but I was out getting my, where is it? This side. There it is, getting my degree. Oh, yeah. It's an empty folder. I found out they mail the degrees. But yes, I graduated from Morehouse College. I'm officially a Morehouse man. Shout out to all my brothers out there. Yes, I was in the audience when Biden gave his speech. There were some protests, but they were all silent, very tasteful. So thank you to everyone that shared your First Amendment or protested and utilized your First Amendment right, but did it in a very tasteful way as not to take away from our big day, but still be able to get your point across. So I appreciate all of you. And thanks, President Biden, for coming to my graduation. I'll invite you to more stuff later. I didn't know you were going to come after I sent the invitation. As you can see, I am joined by a very, very impressive young man that has been very instrumental in a lot of my success over the years. A lot of you ask me all the time, have you ever worked with a business coach? Or professional coach. And I always say, yes, I have. Did 2 rounds with Austin and his team at 2X. And he has found some time to come share some of his experiences as a business coach, as a leader, as an author with all of you. So forgive us. I mean, we go back about, 7-8 years now. So we'll try to keep this as, we'll try to remember that you all are in the room with us, but forgive us if we go down some tangents or if he just starts coaching me on the spot. But Austin, welcome to the Money Script Podcast. How are you?
I am amazing, Yohance. Thanks for having me, man. It is so cool to see your journey. Like you said, we've known each other for years, right? And the cool thing from a coach standpoint is we get to see people grow and develop and be through some of those pivotal times. So just to remember some of the things that you went through and we went through kind of in your journey together to see where you're at now. And now you're adding a degree on top of that of all your long list of accolades. So super cool to see, man. I appreciate you so much and excited to hopefully get some value today.
Indeed. Let's give some value. So for those of you, if this is your first time listening, this is the Money Script Podcast. I'm your host, Yohance Harrison. Like I mentioned, I am a financial advisor. My role is to help people make better financial decisions. Most of my clients, they're in all walks of life. The majority of them are high income earners, or they're in the medical field, specifically emergency medicine. And so I know a lot of you listening because I've been to some of your schools and some of your conferences and spoke with you, are medical students transitioning into residency, or residency transitioning into your first year of practicing. So we are going to keep that in mind as we are talking through some of these things. And remember, if you're not in that field, but you're someone that owns a business or someone that runs a household or someone that, makes some money trying to look to do better, we know that you will find some great tips and tools that you can implement as we have our conversation. So I want to just start with Austin, if you don't mind. Let's start with just your conception of becoming a CEO and founding the company 2X, where I met you.
Yeah, so I started out as an engineer. I was chasing the path to climb that corporate ladder and realized wait a minute, that's not exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to have more control over my future, my potential income, the impact that I could make. So I built my first business on the side. It was actually a day trading business. So I got into the financial space in that way, and created my own algorithm and automated and built that up. And that was my first taste of like financial freedom and getting out of student loan debt, yada, yada. But I burnt myself out in doing that. So I took 18 months off. And when I came back, I was like, all right, I learned some things. I learned what not to do, a lot of things, but now I can more so create in what I wanted to do. And I wanted to make an impact. So I started another business that led to a book, that led to a book marketing agency, that led to coaching entrepreneurs where we first connected, that led to seeing that there's an opportunity here because so many entrepreneurs are out there struggling. They're stuck in the weeds. They're working hard, but not getting ahead and really not making any money or having any time freedom. I was like, I got to teach people what I've learned through all these failures and a couple wins to help free up time and grow a better business. So long story short, 4 different businesses all led to what we do now, which is 2X, which is hands-on one-on-one coaching for amazing people like you.
Indeed. So can we talk about some of the components of 2X? We don't want to give the whole thing away, of course, but can we talk to some of the struggles that CEOs and entrepreneurs face, where a company like yours can come in and give them some assistance?
Yeah, for sure. So when you're starting your business, you got to wear all the hats. But to continue to get to the next level, you have to continue to remove yourself and add more smart leverage to your business. That is through the form of systems, through the form of people who are ultimately running the business so that you can focus on the highest impact things and so that you can have the time freedom. So how do you make that transition from starting your practice and doing all the different things yourself to one by one removing yourself to create a much healthier business, a much more scalable business, a much more profitable business, and one that's not so reliant on you? That's where we come in to guide you what to do. So we help just kind of take you through step by step to make for a simpler business, a better operationally excellent business, and get you really in control of your time, focused on the highest impact things. So there's a lot of moving pieces, but we can come in from the outside, having so many different runs at this, working with business owners to help you see the things that you can't see, because you can't see the label from inside the jar, right? And we're oftentimes in our businesses pulled in so many different directions. We can't see things that are actually pretty clear to help you simplify and ultimately scale a much healthier business.
Yeah. So I was just having flashbacks of some of our first sessions together. And I was one of those individuals where, being a solopreneur, it was just myself. Well, I wasn't just me, because Alicia, my wife, was with me and helping out a bit, but it was just her helping out where she could. And I was doing everything else. And I also felt that I had to do everything else. And I know one of the first things that you said to me is hire someone. And then I was like, well, hire them to do what? And we did a very painful exercise where, for I think almost, was it 2 weeks, I think, where I had to basically track where I was spending all of my time, and had to do like a time and task list. Okay, what you woke up, you clocked into the office, what did you do? How long did it take? And then we measured the financial impact of those tasks. And then you kind of, I don't remember exactly the how I broke it down, but basically what I ended up with was a list of things that I hate to do.
Which is where you were spending all your time, right?
That's where I spent all my time.
Most of your time. I'm like, wait a minute, you're spending hours on paperwork. You're spending hours on this. What are you doing to drive revenue? What are you doing to drive growth? Well, I don't have time for that. What do you mean you don't have time to drive growth? So it's funny once we really make it tangible and actually look, because we don't know when we're just hustling. We end the day and we're like, man, I worked really hard. I had to move forward, right? But most of the time, no. Like, we're still in kind of this hamster wheel, same spot.
And Austin, to this day, I will share with you. So when we did our third hire, her role was to be an account specialist. So her only job is to open accounts. And we open a fair amount of accounts, all different types, from SEP IRAs to 401ks to insurance accounts, a lot of different accounts we open. That's her only role. Austin, there are accounts I don't know how to open anymore. Actually, last week, I had a client on and we were trying to get something done for tax time. He was filing his taxes late and we were trying to get something done. And I said, I'll just go ahead and open it real quick. It can't be that hard. I screwed it all the way up. That account didn't get open till today. And this was last week. And I get on with Alexis, shout out to Alexis. And Alexis gets the email, what we call a NIGO, not in good order. She was like, what is this? I was like, yeah, I tried to open accounts. She said, well, I I was here. I was in the office. All you had to do was say, hey, can you open this account? It would have taken 5 minutes and we wouldn't have this NIGO report. And I was like, yeah, I know. I should have known better. But that is so liberating to know that I can trust someone to get something done better than I can, so I can focus on finding more people that want to open up those type of accounts.
Yeah.
Because she, like I said, she understands the system far better than I. And she was explaining to me, oh, you're supposed to do this. And I forgot one thing. It was something simple, but I don't do it often enough to know it. But it's so liberating to know that I can trust her to get it done, and it frees up more time so I can focus on the things that are more important. Because she's not in the sales role. She's not. The other thing that I heard you say that has been very imperative to helping me scale and grow my business, and this is something I share with a lot of clients as well, is the S word, systems. I did not realize how important systems were until I went through the 2X entrepreneurial coaching, and we have built some systems now that without them, we would not be where they are. And just for the record, Austin's company is called 2X, and kind of the goal behind 2X is to be able to 2X your revenue. Okay. And when I met Austin and we had the conversation and he gave me the pitch, if you will, I did look at him sideways. Like, I'm not going to 2X my revenue. It's like, it's not going to happen. But Austin told me to keep an open mind. And in the end, in the 1 year of working with him, I did not 2X. I did like 40%. So that was still good for me. I was like, I'll take this 40% growth in a year. I'll take it. However, I was able to build a platform that now, what are we? This was in 2018 was my first year with you, I think. Yeah, 2018. So from 2000.
Yeah, it was first year. Exactly.
Yes. So 2018 to today, we're probably approaching 3X from 2018. Wow. And I'm perfectly fine with that. Yeah. I'm actually at a point where I'm like, that's about as fast as I can grow. But it's because of the systems we put in place in 2018. And I did another round in 2020. It's because of those systems that were put in place in 2018 and 2020 that we can continue to scale. I mean, I have it built to a point now where there's so many things I don't do anymore that I did, was that 6 years ago, that now other people do, or system is doing it for me, that it creates this ecosystem where people don't get lost and they come in and we know exactly where they are all the way through the process because of the system. So I'm speaking directly now, especially to my business owners that are listening. You have to have systems. Austin can tell you better than I can, but you have to have systems. Now, I'll admit, Austin, going through my business administration bachelor's degree, we actually studied some of the things that you were telling me about. I was like, oh, this is all this. I was like, oh, so they do teach you this in school, but then I realized it's a semester. There's no practical application. It was great for me because I was like, oh, I remember when Austin was telling me about this. Okay, I know how I can improve upon this now that I'm seeing where Austin got it from. So this is a part of business management that, because I did not have the degree, I never took the course. I mean, I knew it was out there, but I didn't know how to apply it. And so it was very helpful to then get that, I call it the third and fourth dose, and going through those college courses on just, the reapplication of some of the things that we learned before. So Austin, I'm curious, since you've been a entrepreneurial coach, what would you say are the if you were to narrow it down to the top 3 things that entrepreneurs can do to help improve their revenue or improve their business? Could you just rattle 3 of those off?
Absolutely. Let's do it. First of all, if I could go back on just what you shared there, I could go back and touch on every single thing because it's so important, but we'll come back to that in a second. So 3 things. All right, let's do this. Number 1, we got to simplify your business and simplify your strategy. All right. So one of the things that we worked on with you, Johannes, I remember, is we got you much more targeted and clear on exactly who you serve. Most people are trying to serve too broad of an audience for too many different things. No, if you get known, that leads to more, let's say, JV partnerships, more podcast opportunities, more referrals, more like easier fulfillment, all the different things. So simplifying your business and focus and having the right strategy and model set to scale, that's key. That's the 80-20 of growth. If you get that right, everything else is easier. All right. So we've got to do that. Most people think they have a good strategy or model. Even if you have a 6 or 7 figure business, like you can think you have that. Trust me, we have narrowed in on that. Literally every single client we've ever worked with, except for one, they already had it pretty darn nailed that we moved on to the next pieces. Every single client. Okay. Simplify your strategy. That's number one. Number two is as you're building everything, you've got to back it up with systems, as Johannes is talking about. All right. Systems are literally everything that you do is and should be a system. All right. So that could mean having a process, having a software program, having a tool, having some type of playbook, having some type of SOP that outlines exactly what to do, recording a video that somebody else can do that, having some type of documentation or system that makes it easier to do that same thing over and over. This allows you to get free. All right. So having operational excellence is so key as you continue to grow, because number three, we got to make sure to always protect your time. All right. You've got to be in control of your time. You got to start every single day working on the most important, highest impact things. You can't have reactivity in your business. You want to be spending your time on $1,000 an hour or up type activities, not $10 an hour or below type activities that most people are spending their time on. So you really got to be really in control of your time. And all three of those things go together. Nailing a simple strategy and model that's set to scale, building operational excellence each step along the way. And number three, making sure that you're in control of your time and focused on the right things. Because as you shared with your example of like when you mapped out all your different tasks, there's a wide range in the impact of most of the tasks that you're doing, which are, again, $20, $30, $40 an hour tasks, maybe, right? Versus that top end, which is like $500, $700, $1,000 an hour type tasks. That's a huge disparity of the impact that you can do by making a lot more impact, making a lot more money while working less. So if you do those couple things, you're going to be ahead of the game. But it's really hard to do that. Again, trying to juggle all the different things. This is why you need some counsel to say, hey, let's simplify, let's work through a strategic process. And that's what we've tried to master.
I will say that I did go as far as doubling, which, and this was a conversation Austin and I had I remember the conversation we had we're in LA.
Probably in LA, yeah.
In the kitchen. And I was talking about the whole doubling aspect. And I said, what I know will double is the amount of people I'm seeing with the time that freed up. But because of the tailwind that's associated in financial services, because I'm a fee-based financial planner. So could I go out and go find 100 new clients and double my income? Sure. Yeah. But finding 100 new clients, that means I got to take a lot of time off my schedule from the existing clients. Mm-hmm. But what I was able to do is to go from seeing on average 14 to 16 appointments per week to where now I'm anywhere between 25 and 30 a week. Mm-hmm. So I know that the revenue is coming from that eventually, because it tends to take a little bit of time for the trust to build and the clients to bring their assets and life events to happen and the houses to sell and get the new jobs and all of those good things, pay off their student loans or go from being a resident to being a practicing physician, because residents make $60,000 and physicians can make $300,000, $400,000, $500,000, $600,000. There's not a lot of money for me to make if they're only making $60,000, but I can help them set a foundation so that when all of a sudden they're making the six figures, we all get to celebrate a little bit. So, but putting those systems in place, delegating the lower dollar per hour task to someone else that's more equipped to do that task than and they can have a focus on those tasks. It freed up so much time, and not just time for me to see more clients. Also, it freed up time for me to take my daughter to school every day. That was something we talked about.
That's the juicy stuff, right?
That was something we talked about wanting to have more time for. Actually, Alicia talked about her wanting me to have more time.
Yeah.
And when she was right, I needed to. But by creating the systems, by not having to wake up in the morning and put out fires, and knowing that someone that's up an hour earlier than me, because she's on the East Coast, is up and dealing with my emails and all that fun stuff, gives me the privilege to take my daughter to school every morning. And that's something I really enjoy. I don't have to start my day at 6, 7 a.m. and dive into the office or dive into work. I can come strolling in after taking my daughter to school and going for a walk with my wife and going to the gym, and then come in and do the most important task, which is not answering my emails. It's seeing my first appointment a day. Okay. Because that's where, just like as a physician, the money is made from seeing the patient. Yep. If you don't see patients, there's not really a lot to do unless you're in research. But that is the same for me. I need to be able to be in front of people. So I had to find ways to free up my time. And that's what 2X was all about. Yeah. I wanted I feel like we forgot something. We were going somewhere. We were going to double back. I don't know. We'll catch it up later. Anyways, I want to talk about 6 to 7 figures. So it is a book that you wrote some years back that I have read multiple times and given out dozens of copies. There it is. Thank you very much. I should have had my copy here to hold up, but you did it. There we go. We'll put links to it in the show notes. And because we're such kind people, you send me a personal email. Okay. It's in the show notes. Send me a personal email. And for the first 10 people to send me a personal email, I'll make sure that you get a copy. But I want to talk about 6 to 7 figures. Where did the idea of the book come from?
Yeah. I was a master at starting 6-figure income streams. I was like, that was my thermostat. I knew how to do it. I was just like, give me an idea, give me a business. I'm going to get it to multiple 6 figures. But here's the thing. I got stuck right there. I was no matter if I put a lot more effort into it or less effort, I was stuck. And I was like, hold on, I'm doing something wrong. I see some other people around me continuing to climb to 7 figures, to 8 figures. I'm like, I'm not playing the game at that type of level. Why is that? So I went on this journey to really figure it out and address it head on. Started working at this point in time with a lot of entrepreneurs as well. And then boom, as soon as I started to learn a couple things, I catapulted to the next level. One of those is that strategy piece that we talk about. The most important chapter is arguably chapter 2, because it goes into the strategy elements to really nail that, to make sure that you're clear on who you serve, how you serve them, and how you're set up to scale. But then the second piece then is, I would say, the mindset. That's actually chapter 1. And some of the things that you've mentioned, Yohance, of your mentality then versus now, of like, I have to do everything, like I can't delegate it, to now you have the belief that there is people out there that can do almost every single thing in your business. And eventually you'll say everything in your business better than you. And you got to make these mindset shifts. So what I go through in the book is to show a couple things. One of the main ones is every single chapter has a breakdown of like, this is how what I call a 6-figure hustler thinks. And this is how a 7 or 8 figure CEO thinks. And you can just see that comparison. And if you go through that and you're in this kind of journey and what we're talking about is resonating with you a little bit, you're going to be like, crap, I connect with that on the 6-figure hustler, that on the I need to change my mindset and my beliefs and my understanding first about business and what I need to focus on. And if you do that, everything unlocks, right? So that's a couple things, nailing the strategy, nailing the mindset. And then the third thing is, and the really, really key principle of the book, is that there's a very strategic order to things. It's not only important what you do, it's really important the order that matters a ton. So for instance, a lot of people are out there hiring marketing agency after marketing agency, hoping that that's going to fix everything and make you rich in your business. That is not the solution. That's one piece of the puzzle. There's 8 major categories of your business that we have to improve and bring together all of them. But before you focus on marketing, it's like, do you have a great irresistible offer? Are you really clear on who you serve and how you serve them? Are you differentiated in the marketplace? Are you going to be able to convert those leads? Are you going to be able to fulfill and make them raving fan clients that stay with you longer, pay more money, send other people your way, yada. So I'm talking about just a couple things here that I could rattle off, but there's a lot of things to do before you go and hire that marketing agency to really try to scale to the next level. So we've got to work through that strategic order if you want to make your life easier as an entrepreneur. So I didn't know that at the beginning. I shifted those couple things, and then getting to multiple 7 figures is just like a blink of an eye and easy, you know, and now we've done some pretty cool things the last few years.
I'm excited to share with you, Austin, that we will hit 7 figures this year.
Let's go. Let's go. I always celebrate that. I feel that for you.
We
Let's
will.
go.
And and it's amazing how steep the curve starts to go up once you really get some things dialed in. It's like, well, this is happening. It's happening whether I happen or not. Like, this is already going, okay, all right. And then, like you said, the mindset shift of seeing how this was able to happen without the hustle. This wasn't about hustle. This was about, nope. I had an irresistible offer. I was presenting it to the right people. And I'll tell you one thing I did. So I'll share a mistake I was making. And for those of you that have met me at some of the conferences, some of the physician conferences, you're a part of this. So one mistake that I made was, and this was just a silly rookie mistake. I would go to a conference with physicians. I'd meet anywhere between 50 to 100 different people, bring all those names back to my office, and I would have my assistant send out an email to say, hey, do you want to get a consultation? And then she would follow up a few weeks later and send out another one and say, are you sure? Do you want to get a consultation? That sort of thing. And then if we didn't hear from them, we just added them to our regular newsletter. Well, last year I had this brilliant idea. I was like, I'm paying for a marketing tool, which would do email blasts and all those stuff. I was like, why don't I just create a campaign for all those people and drop them in a campaign, make it tailored specifically for them. So it's going to talk about their hot buttons. And let's just let the campaign run for 6 months and then let them fall into our normal newsletter. I know when the campaign email goes out because appointments get set. I'll just look at, could I have an magic? I get the text email that appointment's been set. And I'm like, oh, what? I was looking around. It happened last week because it's now been probably 3 months since I was at one of the conferences. And last Thursday, which is the day the email went out, all of a sudden, or Wednesday night email went out. Thursday morning, I wake up. I'm like, where are all these people coming from that are scheduling appointments? I realized I was like, oh, yesterday was the email day. And I went back and looked and I could see that every time the email went out, more appointments were scheduled. And in the way we built it, it says, by the way, if you haven't scheduled yet, here's where to schedule. So the people that have already scheduled are also getting that same email that, because they're still inside of that campaign. I was like, why didn't I think of that? I've been doing these conferences for 7-8 years, but again, it was more of the hustle. I'm gonna go meet these 100 or so people, and I'm gonna find 1 or 2 clients out of it. No, now these 100 people get to meet me, and maybe 10 of them will find me to be their financial advisor because I'm just gonna put them in that system. And if they show up in my calendar in a one-on-one consultation, great. If they don't, I've done my part. But I have this, like I said, the campaign in place. And it's like, why? I was so frustrated that I didn't do it before. So then we decided something that will start next month. We're going to go back on the last 3 years and grab all the people that we've received from those conferences. And we're going to put them all in a 6-month campaign. So they're getting something, again, that's more tailored for them, not just my general monthly newsletter, which it's cool and then people like it, but I know it's general. This podcast would be in it. But those are those things that going all the way back to from 6 to 7 figures, from 2X, of sitting back and looking at things from a CEO of, okay, this is, and looking at my business as if it is a battleship or aircraft carrier that's going along at, I don't know what knots are, but fast. You can't make a fast decision. You have to think, miles ahead of the changes that you're going to make, versus trying to, it's not like a little sailboat where I can just, let me just change the sails a little bit. No, that's not the kind of operation that I'm running at this point. So I have to make decisions as if I'm running a bigger ship, so to speak.
Yep. That's super cool. And that's a great example of exactly what we're talking about, right? Is stopping the blur and the chaos, getting the right strategy, like a strategic approach for what you're going to do, put a system in place so it's not required on you or your hustle from there on, and watch the magic work, right? Like those two things, right? Strategy with the system. That's one example. Imagine if you do that on all the different areas of your business. You're more strategic, more systematic, more scalable, more successful. It compounds in ways it's unbelievable. And you talked about hitting that 7 figures. When we chatted, you were just over 100K. The first time I remember our conversation, because a lot of the people that we worked with were like in the 60 to 100 range. You were over 6 figures, but just barely. And I remember I was like, all right, Yohance has got some things working. And now here we are at 7 figures, dude. I'm so proud of you, dude. That's awesome.
I appreciate it. Indeed. So we have a little bit more time left so we can let people move on to their next podcast. But before we go, I want to make sure that we talk a little bit about your latest book, because it is something, we talk about time, that is near and dear to my heart now, as I am leaving for vacation on Tuesday for 9 days. So not quite
beautiful.
2 weeks. But you have what is called the 2-week vacation test. So tell us a little bit about that one. Oh, you got that one. Hold up.
I got this one as well. Always have them handy for moments like these. Yeah, it's called the 2-week vacation test, how to build your business to run and thrive without you. It's how to reclaim your time. Because again, you start in business most of the time with some goals of, yes, you want some financial freedom, but you also want some time freedom, right? And it's really about being in control of your time so that you can drive your daughter to school, so that you can spend some time with your wife, so that you can work on the higher impact things in your business. So most people get owned by their business and their time is scattered and pulled in 100 different directions. What I walk through in the book is 7 different steps that are easy progressional steps to get to the next level, to better get in control of your time, so that you're not, again, pulled in 100 different directions, overwhelmed, and not working on the right things. So it's a pretty cool process. It's a great frame to build your business. What we tell everybody is like the 2 healthiest frames or ways of thinking to build a successful business is number 1, act as if you're going to sell your business in the next 6 months. All right, if you're going to sell your business in 6 months from now, to get the highest valuation, you're going to increase your profits. You're going to add a lot of systems to make sure that it's repeatable, that it's not so reliant on you. You're going to get your team clear. You're going to really cut out the fat and focus on the highest impact things, yada, yada, right? You're going to build a healthier business. Okay. So the second one is build your business to run and thrive without you for 2 weeks. That will tell you the true healthier business. Most businesses would pretty much stop right away, right? But what we want to do is continue to free you up one thing at a time so that your business can run, grow, and thrive with the least amount of input and effort from you. That puts you in the power position to be able to work on the right things. And again, have that time freedom as well, so that you can take 9 days off and not have to be worrying about the business. You can be truly disconnected, truly in a state of peace. And that's what success is all about, being able to have the wealth and impact that you want, but also really being in control of your time so that you can do the big things in business and out of business that you want.
I love it. So I have not read that one yet. I will get it for my vacation so I can.
I'll send you a copy right away.
So that'd be the right time to read it while on vacation. I did take a week off not too long ago, and I was very pleased to come back. And there were no fires burning.
Wow, that's a major sign. That's actually the 6th step, is to take a week, because you gauge and see where you're at. And things can survive without a week. 2 weeks is that first major sign of like, can the business still operate? Can clients still be served, yada, yada, like all those things. And can revenue still come in without you? That's a pretty cool, but hey, you're at step 6. Let's go. That's huge.
All right. Wonderful. Well, Austin, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for spending some time on the Money Script podcast. I know we've been trying to do this for quite some time. We made it happen. Thank you so much for all of our teams to making it possible, because that's another thing when it comes to systems. I didn't know Austin was scheduled until he was scheduled. I was like, oh, Austin's on the schedule, because that's something I let go of. I create a system, let someone else own it. I gave her a list of all the people who I want to interview, and Austin was on the list. And I was like, well, I guess she's in the ends now. Okay, cool. So I appreciate the fact that our teams can make this happen. Austin, for anybody that wants to learn more about you or about your entrepreneurial coaching, how can they reach you?
Yeah, go to our website. It's 2x.co. That's 2x.co. It's the shortest domain you'll probably get all week. But check it out. We got a bunch of resources there. If you're interested in the program, definitely apply. Say that you came from Yohance. We'll take good care of you. But check out the books as well. From 6 to 7 figures, the 2-week vacation test. These are a little bit different books that'll help you depending on your goals and needs. But they're like, I tried to make them like playbooks. Like, they're very visual. They're very step by step. There's a lot of summaries. There's big text that stands out that hopefully slaps you over the head. So I tried to make it as tangible and easy as possible. So I get a lot of good feedback from those. So I'd love to share those out. And Yohance or I will send you out a free copy as well. So just reach out to us for either one of those books.
And I just want to remind anyone that picks up one of those books, do yourself a favor. Just do it. Just do whatever it says. Just do it. Do it consistently. Do it for a period of time before you try to judge it. That's what I had to do. I had to the phrase that we use, Alicia and I, as we were going through 2X, is throw your brain out. This is someone else has already did all the thinking for you. You're just here to take action. So we would throw our brain out and we would just take action. And then we saw the fruits of all of our labor. And believe me, there's some things that were like, that part's not for us. It's not going to work for our business. But most of it worked and applied directly to our business. And I'm so glad that we've done it and continue to revisit to this time. One last final thing. And Loom, if you want to send me some money for this, I'll accept it. Austin, you told us to build a playbook in SOPs, and we live and die by that playbook and SOPs to this day.
Let's go.
If you subscribe to Loom, you can record a video and their new AI tool will write the SOP for you.
Yep.
Talking about game changer.
Yep.
The list of SOPs that needed to be created went from 10 to 0 in about 30 minutes.
Wow.
Which was incredible. So Loom and AI, thank you for that. Because that's the other thing. There's so many tools out there, especially with AI right now, that can help us all be better business owners. Yep. And that's the goal. That's the goal. So again, thank you all for tuning in to the Money Script Podcast. Do yourself a favor. Don't keep us a secret. Why do I say do yourself a favor? Because when you tell someone else about it and then they listen to the podcast, now you have someone that you can talk to about it, because you may not be able to reach me at that time, but you know them better. You can have a conversation and talk about the things that you learned in the episode. That person can help hold you accountable to finishing the book or hiring a coach or whatever it is that you need to do. Going back to some of our other episodes and learning about whether it's Roth IRAs or 401ks or whatever it may be. That's what this community is for. This is free information so that you can find ways to take action and do a better job with your finances and do a better job with your business. So until next time, tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend, and we'll see you on the next Money Script Podcast episode. Why did that come out weird? I don't know. Next time.
You're the man. Appreciate you, bro.
I'll take care. Thanks.
I'm back. Wasn't that a great show? I hope you learned something. I know I did. Now, before you go trying anything you heard today, remember, it is not intended to be specific tax or legal advice. If you need that, go see a CPA or an attorney. If you would like any complimentary consultation with a knowledgeable advisor, visit moneyscript.com and schedule a 15-minute consultation. Want Yohance to come speak at your next event? Go to the Money Script website for that too. Of course, if you're watching on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications. Money Script Wealth Management is a registered financial advisory service in multiple states. Want to learn more? Get the full disclosure on our website, moneyscript.com.